This is a review of our stock trailers, the features that they have, and some important safety factors. To start with, as you can see, we always carry panels on our primary stock trailers. The way they're secured is with these little bars here, and the orientation of the bar is really critical. You'll see that we have green stripes on one side, which from the tow vehicle or looking in your mirrors, you should be able to see. That means it's set correctly. On the other side are red reflective strips. If you look back and see red, it's not a good thing. These panels are not properly secured. Also, the way the panels are oriented, we'll have handles to operate the center slam gates. We cannot have these handles blocked by the vertical bars of the panels. It could be dangerous for somebody trying to close that gate and it won't close because the handle won't operate. Or if you have a horse in there and now you can't get the horse out until you reset your panels. So that is an important consideration. As we come around to the back, we always want to make sure that the drop pins are completely down. We actually had a rear gate open up one time on us, which was not a very nice thing to have happen because we had animals inside. The drop pins for these panels should all face the rear. The important part there is that as people are deploying the panels, they know how they are oriented when they're trying to connect them to the other panels that are already out or to the trailer. This is an older style slam gate. It has a hook that's supposed to keep it open, but on rough roads, this hook will bounce off and this gate will start swinging. So we keep the gate chained with a safety chain. Naturally, we want to have this removed before we do anything where we need to push the horse into the front of the trailer and have to go fool around while the horse decides he's not going to stay there. Then simple slam, we're closed. Again, you can rock and roll going around places with these trailers. So we're going to safety chain the trailer slam gate. The stop has a hole in it that you can pass the chain through. So now we have a safe operation, and if this bounces enough, the door's not going to swing open. Opening the slam gate is similar to opening the rear gate. Now, if we're really worried about it, we can take a piece of rope and attach it and carry ropes on these trailers and pull it that way. Or if you're just going to reach in and do it, stay along the edge. The horse is going to come right out. You shouldn't have a problem. My advice is, if you're not used to doing this, the safest bet, take an extra minute, hook onto the edge of the slam gate with the rope, step outside where it's safe. When somebody pulls the handle, just pull the rope. Just like with the other trailers, before we leave, if this slam gate is open, we need to secure it against the sidewall with the chain. And in this case, we'd like to have this as snug as possible so that there's less rattle, movement, and noise for the horses that are inside. So what do we do if we need to close the gate, but we're afraid of the horse that's inside? Because there is a little bit of risk, even if you've got your moves down correctly, there's risk involved if the horse comes at you while the gate's being closed. Two things we can do. One is, once this is unhooked, you can take a pole and you can push it, give it a good hard shove, usually from about here so that you've got enough reach so that it'll actually lock. We have had on occasion where we've taken a piece of rope, duct taped it to the ceiling, had it come out through here. So when the horse came in, we pulled the rope, came flying down from the ceiling, pulled the slam gate, worked like a charm. So just think through your possibilities. If you're in a situation where you're not convinced that it's safe to just walk in here and throw the gate. Some of the trailers have a slightly different mechanism for locking the center slam gate. Regardless, it all has to be accessible. Opening the slam gate with a horse in the trailer can be a little bit tricky. Once that latch is opened, there's nothing to keep the horse from shoving the gate on top of you. If it's a really dangerous horse, we could hook a chain or a rope and pull it from the outside. Most often, what we're going to do is we're going to just pull the gate and step out of the way. What's an important thing to do once your horses are unloaded is to make sure that your equipment is properly secured so this gate's not slamming back and forth as you're driving down the road. When closing the gate, you may want to practice a couple of times because each one of these gates is a little different in weight and in resistance. We want to make sure that when we close the gate, it makes it all the way for the person to latch it. If we can help it, we don't want to slam this thing and scare the crap out of the horses. The latches are obviously important. We've got to keep the horse in the trailer. And as you can see, even though each trailer is slightly different, the object is to wrap the hooks around the eyes on the doors. One thing we have to make sure we do right away is lift the pin and secure the handle so the door doesn't accidentally bounce open while we're preparing to leave, or even worse, if we're going down the road. Opening the rear door can be a safety issue. Most of the time the horses are just going to huddle back and wait and see what's going on and then realize they can leave the trailer. On rare occasions, you'll have one come blowing out. If the trailer is slightly canted to the right, the simple solution is to release the door and let it open on its own. If you're in a position where the door won't swing open on its own, we have a couple of choices. One is somebody with a rope could hold on to it and pull it open once the latch is freed. If you're delivering the horse by yourself, you can lift the pin off the latch, pull the handle, and once you pull the handle, there's nothing that's going to keep this door from coming out. And just simply come out with the edge of the door. Horse is going to follow the door. You have some protection here. The door is not going to slap you, as might happen if you decide to pull the door open this way and the horse hits it. So stay with the edge of the door as much as you can. Let the horses out. Again, most of the time the horses are just going to stand there, in which case I'm going to exit back toward the front of the trailer on the right-hand side so that I'm not crossing in front of the path of the horses if they decide to leave. There's a critical safety issue on Transport 11. We have a rescue glide and a couple of slip sheets behind these panels so that they're held on by ratchet straps. If you look closely, you'll see there's an eye bolt at the top and an eye bolt at the bottom. And here's what happened, and we almost had a disaster on our hands. Instead of attaching to the top eye bolt, somebody wrapped the strap over the top and around here. And when I went to load horses, I discovered that the ratchet strap had actually lifted the door up, and it was only held in place by the panels. It had come out of the hinges. So make sure you're securing your straps and whatnot properly. And it's the driver's responsibility to double check all this stuff before you leave. We have storage boxes on the running boards for ropes, chains, and other accessories. One of the things we need to make sure that we do when we're done is pack everything carefully, make sure there's nothing hanging over the edges that can jam when we close the box, and make sure that the box is latched securely. Also, when you're working around this equipment, please pay attention. Do not open slide gate. It's got a chain and a padlock. It's there because this thing will bounce open going down the road if it's not secured properly. So that's not going to get you anywhere. Use the proper gear, understand how it works, read the signs. These seem like simple things, but they're things that everybody needs to be aware of because on a scene, different people are going to be doing different jobs. Even though it's the driver's responsibility to double check all of this stuff, we need everybody to be performing these tasks correctly. It's for safety, for no other reason. It's why we wear helmets. It's why we wear our reflective vests. In addition to the safety issue, we do have people reporting folks they think are dumping horses out on the range. Law enforcement may want to know what we're doing. They may not see the decals on our vehicles by the way we're parked. What's consistent is we're wearing helmets, we're wearing our orange vests, and I don't get a call from NHP asking, were you guys out at such and such a location because somebody reported horse dumping? Let's be professional 100% of the time.